So I want to talk for a minute about moving past trauma and the subconscious mind. So the toughest thing about moving past trauma is believing that you can. And it's very hard because our subconscious mind and our emotional, right, our emotions have, and our logical thoughts are often at odds when it comes to pain somebody has caused us, deep pain. So, if you walk down an alleyway, if you walk down a street and someone comes out of an alley and attacks you, they hurt you physically, they traumatize your emotions, they hurt you emotionally, they do a horrible thing. Now, every time you're walking down the street, city streets after that, from then on, you have an emotional reaction. You might have panic attacks, right? Can't walk at night, whatever it may be. What is so hard to accept is that that person hurt you the first time. And then after that, you hurt you. Now, there's a lot of people that might be mad at me for saying that. And I'm talking about a greater, how the subconscious works is what I'm talking about right now. Reality, how we really behave is different, right? I understand. You've got to give yourself time to heal. You can't expect yourself to just let something go immediately. All of that is true. All of that is true. I'm not trying to diminish that or take that away. What I am trying to impress upon you is that at some point, there comes a choice to make, and that is to choose your own happiness over punishing that other person. And this is what I mean. So if somebody does something truly horrible to you, something traumatizing to you, subconsciously speaking, it can feel like if you move on with your life at some point and you let that trauma fade a bit and you become functional and you become happy, subconsciously speaking, for many people, that feels like letting someone off the hook for what they did. It sounds like, well, if I'm happy, then that what they did to me must not have been that bad. It's going to seem like it wasn't that bad, but it was that bad. And that's not okay. I don't want to make it seem like what they did wasn't horrible, subconsciously, right? And that's understandable. But what that really means is you're saying, in order to make it clear that what they did was horrible, I'm going to continue to be unhappy. I'm going to continue to punish myself so that it's clear that what they did was horrible. That is understandable. It is hard sometimes to choose happy, to choose to move forward, subconsciously speaking, to choose to say, I can be happy even though this happened to me. I can be okay. Because what about what they did? What about that? And that's true. But at some point, to have a shot at moving forward, you have to decide that you and your happiness and your future are more important than showing them or showing yourself or showing others that what they did was horrible. And that's easier said than done. And a lot of people don't want to accept that because it sounds like that I'm being too simplistic. I can just choose to say, I'm okay, and I'm going to let that go. It wasn't personal, what they did. They're just a horrible, horrible person, miserable, terrible human being, and I was, just a victim of them. And it really wasn't about me, and it wasn't my fault, and I'm going to be okay, even though they're a terrible, terrible person. That's really hard to do, and That's not meant to diminish the process of healing in any way, or I'm not trying to tough love people and tell them, you're the reason you're unhappy, not them. They did one horrible thing, you're continuing to perpetuate the cycle. On some level, subconsciously, you are continuing to punish yourself, but that is a very simple way of looking at the complex human experience, and it simply is, it's very complicated. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I am trying to say, in terms of your subconscious, at some point, you have to accept that you have you have the ability to manage your emotions. You have the ability to make choices. You can choose to let someone go. Doesn't mean you forgive them. Doesn't mean what they did was okay. Doesn't diminish what they did. But in order to ever have a chance at moving forward and being happy, you have to choose. You have to agree that you have that power. That you have the power to be happy, and that you can let that go and be happy. And that can be very hard to do, and you can get a lot of pushback for that. But it's very important, that accountability, that belief that you actually can be happy, and that you choose your own happiness over being unhappy because of what they did was so big, right? It deserves unhappiness. So I hope this makes sense. What I'm trying to say is, subconsciously, often we continue to perpetuate the cycle because of what they did was terrible. And to let it go is to make it seem like what they did isn't bad. And you have a choice to make. Would you rather choose that, or choose moving forward, choose your own life? And when you make that choice, you become much more empowered. But it means you're choosing yourself over the emotional punishment of what they did. Let me know your thoughts.